Okie dokie. After a few checks. November 20th. It is Thursday. Hello. It's almost 6 p.m. in Izmir. And, I hope you guys can see me. It's getting dark out, but the light on the dining room table flickers and flashes a lot. So I don't want to use that because you guys will have a seizure while you're listening to me. If you don't already have a seizure once in a while you're listening to me rant about random shit and read books to you. So, hold on. Here we go. I have both books for you today. A Return to Love and Sevgiye Dönüş. İkisi. İngilizcesi, Türkçesi. Değişik bir şey yapmak istedim. Bugün, I think, bir bölümün çok küçük bir parçasını okuyup İngilizce ve Türkçe okuyacağım. So I'm going to do something a little different today, and I think I'm going to read English and Turkish, same tiny section in the chapter, because I think it's relevant and it's potent, and I didn't go through and look for it again. I just kind of was doing a little meditating or ruminating or whatever, and I opened up to a page, and what I read is what I'm gonna read. That's what I've been doing the last few times I've done this. So, and every time it seems to hit the spot. So hopefully it'll hit the spot again today. It's been kind of a weird day, but also a beautiful day. My body's not feeling too good today, so yeah. Mind is okay, kind of all over the place. Not really crazy all over the place, but anyway, I don't want to give you too much of an update, I was going to say, but all of these things are pretty much an update about me and my meanness in this multiverse. It's kind of ending up being like a video blog in a weird way, or video therapy. So yeah, interesting. Thanks for coming along. And there's a few of you who I hope are really watching these word for word and catching all of the messages in there. I won't name any names, but yeah. If we vibe together, you know who you are already anyway. If we vibe together, ride together, whatever you want to call it. Life is interesting. People come and go out of our lives, and everyone's teaching us something or multiple things, and we're learning more and more about ourselves constantly. And there are a lot of mirrors everywhere, so looking and having the courage to look in those mirrors too and see what you're going to see. It's a little terrifying, but it's also good for you. First step to any kind of change or any kind of up-leveling or evolving or super cheesy or corny, ascending, is realizing that we've been lied to our entire lives. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not going to go down that entire route right now, but I will start reading. It is getting dark. I'm going to have to figure out lighting stuff or make sure I do this before it gets dark from now on, because I love the natural light in here. So, yes, little English, little Turkish, git gel yapacağım. Ama we're on page 31, chapter 3. It's called You. There's a little quote in the beginning of the chapter. Feeling a little silly today. Should I drink my water? One day we'll have a video and go on the water topic. That'll be a doozy. Su konuyla ilgili de konuşuruz bir gün bir videoda. Konusu anı çıkınca. Şu an çıktığı gibi. O da enteresan olur diye düşünüyorum. Ama şu anlık buradayız. Chapter 3, You. The thought God The thought God holds of you is like a star, unchangeable in an eternal sky. So in that chapter, there's a section called the Divine Mind, section 2. It's on page 30. That's where I am right now. Let's go. God has lit your mind himself and keeps your mind lit by his light because his light is what your mind is. Psychologist Carl Jung posited the notion of the collective unconscious, an innate mental structure encompassing the universal thought forms of all humanity. His idea was that if you went deeply enough into your mind and deeply enough into mine, there's a level we all share. The course goes one step further. If you go deeply enough into your mind and deeply enough into mine, we have the same mind. The concept of a divine or Christ mind is the idea that at our core, we are not just identical, but actually the same being. There's only one begotten Son. Doesn't mean that someone else was it and we're not. It means we're all it. There's only one of us here. This is kind of fun. We're like the spokes on a wheel, all radiating out from the same center. If you define us according to our position on the rim, we seem separate and distinct from one another. But if you define us according to our starting point, our source, the center of our wheel, we're a shared identity. If you dig deep enough into your mind and deep enough into mine, the picture is the same. At the bottom of it all, what we are is love. The word Christ is a psychological term. Don't get stuck on the words, please. You can use whatever word you want there. Just stick with it. The word Christ is a psychological term. No religion has a monopoly on the truth. Christ refers to the common thread of divine love that is the core and essence of every human mind. The love in one of us is the love in all of us. There's actually no place where God stops and you start, and no place where you stop and I start. Love is energy, an infinite continuum. Your mind extends into mine and into everyone else's. It doesn't stay enclosed within your body. I love that. A Course in Miracles likens us to sunbeams thinking we're separate from the sun, or waves thinking we're separate from the ocean. Just as a sunbeam can't separate itself from the sun, and a wave can't separate itself from the ocean, we can't separate ourselves from one another. We're all part of a vast sea of love, one indivisible, divine mind. This truth of who we really are doesn't change. We just forget it. We identify with the notion of a small, separate self, instead of the idea of a reality we share with everyone. You aren't who you think you are. Aren't you glad? You're not your grades or your credentials or your resumes or your house. We aren't those things at all. We are holy beings, individual cells in the body of Christ. A Course in Miracles reminds us that the sun continues to shine and the ocean continues to swell, oblivious to the fact that a fraction of their identity has forgotten what it is. We are who God created us to be. We are all one. We are love itself. Accepting the Christ. Oh my God. When I hear Christ this much in this section, it kind of has my little trigger alerts on. I'm not going to lie. I get a little bit triggered from that word, but the whole message as a whole, so just stick with it. Accepting the Christ is merely a shift in self-perception. We awaken from the dream that we are finite, isolated creatures and recognize that we are glorious, infinitely creative spirits. We awaken from the dream that we are weak and accept that the power of the universe is within us. I realized many years ago that I must be very powerful if I could mess up everything I touched, everywhere I went with such amazing consistency. Feel that one. I figured there must be a way to apply the same mental power then embedded in neurosis into a more positive way. A lot of today's most common psychological orientation is to analyze the darkness in order to reach the light, thinking that if we focus on our neuroses, their origins and dynamics, then we will move beyond them. This kind of touches on the piece from yesterday too, if you watched and listened to that. Eastern religions tell us that if we go for God, all that is authentically ourselves will drop. Go for the light and darkness will disappear. Focus on Christ means focus on the goodness and power that lie within us in order to invoke them into realization and expression. We get in life that which we focus on. Continual focus on darkness leads us as individuals and as a society further into darkness. Focus on the light brings us into the light. I accept the Christ within means I accept the beauty within me as who I really am. I am not my weakness. I am not my anger. I am not my small-mindedness. I am much, much more. And I am willing to be reminded of who I really am. Dun, dun, dun, dun. And it's on page 33. That is fucking nice. Nice.